Welcome to the Edgenuity Credit Retrieval Teacher Training. Today we will cover essential skills such as logging in, viewing and locating students, student progress, managing courses, as well as student completions in Edgenuity. First, we'll begin with logging in. When logging into your Edgenuity account, educators will use the link as follows. Teachers who enrolled before May 13th, 2024 will use the login username E with their ID number, for example, E123456, with the password E number without your E, for example, 123456. Teachers who enrolled after May 13th should use this login. Your username will be E with your number, for example, E123456, and your password will be your lowercase first name initial with your lowercase last name initial plus your E number without the E. For example, DC123456. For an educator logging in, I will be using the before May 2024 educator login. Once you sign in, you'll get to the home screen. First, we will start by viewing and locating a student. You will use the student search magnifying glass by clicking on this link here. You'll begin typing. As long as you type the first 3 letters of their names will start to populate. So, I'm looking for student James Bond. I see that James Bond came up here. I can click on him by doing this. Once I open up James Bond, I can see what course he is working on. By clicking on the course title here, Biology BCR. Whenever I open the student's course, I can see that James is working on a quiz. The current assignment will be highlighted in yellow. James is on this quiz here. If I want to look at a student's progress, I would start by hovering over the graduate icon and this drop-down will appear. I can do that by clicking on the progress report and it will open up James Bond's progress. When looking at a student's progress, I'm going to look at these color indicators. Student is ahead, student is behind, student is on track, or for target completion. All of this is determined by the student's start and end date. If the end date is not accurate, it may not reflect the correct progress. Currently, this student's start date is 8/25/2022 with the target date 6/1/2023. So I can see that my student is behind by looking at this red indicator bar. I know that my student is 79.37 complete. I can also edit the student's start and end date. I would do that by going to the graduate icon here, and I would click View Courses. When viewing the course, I want to edit. I'm going to click on the bubble next to the title of the course. I would then go to Edit Options. If a student is starting on a certain date, you will enter that here. I would put the student's start date, put the student's target date or their end date, scroll down to the bottom of the screen, and submit my action. Are you sure you want to edit this course? Yes, I do. I'm going to submit here. Once the class has successfully been updated, I can go back to the course. I'd like to look at James's progress now that I have my progress set by the start and end date for this student. I'll go to the graduate icon and click Progress Report. I now see the correct start and end date for this student. The start date is 6/17/2024, and the target date is 5/29/2025. I can see that this student is still a little bit behind by indicating that here. I can also look at the student's progress on another report. I could do that by going to the graduate icon and view their courses. I would click on the course that they're enrolled in, Biology BCR, and I could look at the student's course report. The course report is on the top right side of the student's screen. By clicking the report will download into your download box. You can click on the report and see where the student is at. For the student to finish by their target date, 5/29/2025, the student is behind their progress. They should be at 96.12%, and the student is at 79.37%. So I see that the student is behind. This is the second way to view a student's progress. As a teacher, if I want to access guided notes for my students, I have the option to do so by going to the Courses dropdown and going to Course Structures. When I click on Course Structures, it will show me all of the courses that are offered in Edgenuity by curriculum year. All of our math courses are here, and I can scroll down to all of our science courses here. If a student is enrolled in the Biology ACR for the 2024 curriculum, I would find that here and click on the title of that course. This will show you the entire breakdown of the course curriculum. If I know that the student is on the function of organelles in Unit 3, I can see that here, and the guided notes are linked next to it. I would click on the guided notes and see that it pops up in that same window, and I'm able to print those notes for that student. These will go slide by slide for the student. The slide number is indicated on the side. Whenever the student is on slide number 2, they would be able to fill in this information here. There is nothing for slide 3, and then when they get to slide 4, they would indicate and fill in everything here. If you'd like to download and print these, you can go to your print icon or download icon for this to be accessed for the student. Because I'm in the same window on my Edgenuity login, I'm going to click back to get back to the Edgenuity course. As a teacher, if I'd like to see the Explore activities for science courses, I can do that by also going to Courses, Course Structures, scrolling down to my science course. My student is enrolled in Biology ACR 2024. I would click on the curriculum, and I'm going to look for the first Explore activity. The first Explore activity I'm going to find is going to be in Unit 5. Unit 5, Explore activity for photosynthesis. I'm going to click on the Explore activity. As a student, I would see the exact same thing here. This is the lesson that the student will participate in. Whenever a student is participating in the activity, they should be given a printout or digital copy of the lab. The lesson info can be found here. The student has the option to download a Google Doc, or they can have a printed copy. If, as the teacher, you're providing a printed copy, you could click on this PDF here, and it would open up in a new window. As the student is going through the digital gizmo, they would go through and write down their answers on this paper copy. As a teacher, you also have access to this on our presentation here. So for Explore activities, we have provided a folder for you to access the PDF copy as well as a key to grade all of the Explore activities. Students are able to have copies of this Explore activities for biology and also for chemistry. Teacher keys are provided. If a student is enrolled in a CR course and they pre-test out of the unit that has an Explore activity, they do not have to do the Explore activity. If a student is in a CR course and they do not pass the pre-test, they must do the Explore activity before they're able to take the quiz at the end of the unit. Let's take a look at the Explore activities provided in the folder. They're broken down by course as well as curriculum year. If I'm looking at biology, those are going to be listed first by A semester, B semester, and then we also have chemistry. For biology ACR 2021, I would click on the folder provided and see that the activity PDF is linked here, as well as the key here. For the key, you are able to see the answers in blue. This helps you to grade the activities for the students on their Explore activities. As an educator, I know that I'm able to grade Explore activities. To do so, I'm going to start by going to the course for the student. I'm already on my student, James Bond, so I'm going to hover over the graduate icon and go to View Courses. I will click on the course title to open up the screen for my student. I know that the activity is in Unit 1 under Mitosis. For Mitosis, if I want to see if the student pre-tested out or did not pass the pretest to see if the student needs to do the Explore activity, I could see by clicking on the quiz for that unit. The quiz is going to be indicated here. If the attempt 1 says 70 or higher, the student passed the pretest and does not need to participate in the Explore activity. If the attempt 1 is a 60 or below, that now tells me that the student did not pass the pretest. The student will then be instructed by going through the instruction, assignment, and having to participate in the Explore activity. For this example, the student did pass the pretest. As a teacher, I can look at a student's quiz to determine if they need to do the Explore activity. If I see that the student has attempt 1 and it is a 40, I can see that they did not pass the pretest. The student would then have to go through the instruction, Explore activity, and then have the opportunity to take the quiz again. This student has already participated in the quiz. I can see that when clicking on the Explore activity, the student participated in the Explore activity and was given 100. If the student clicks on the Explore activity, opens the screen, and participates in some form or fashion, the course automatically gives them a 100. I would grade the student's activity and change the grade. By doing so, I would have the course selected, Explore activity, and I would click Change Score. Once I change the score for this student, I will now enter whatever they earned on the activity. This student got an 85. I would type the reason. Once I have the reason and I click Submit, this is going to actually count the calculation for the student's overall grade. If you do not grade the Explore activity and change the score does not impact their grade. I'm not going to impact the student's grade. For example purposes, to grade the activity for the Explore activities, I would start by clicking the activity, clicking Change Score, and inputting the grade that the student earned. Once I input the grade, the student will then have a grade that is accurate for the Explore activity, and it will count towards the student's overall grade. Okay, I'm ready to start managing activities, pretests, quizzes, and grading. So, first we're going to search our student by typing in their name. I'm looking at James Bond. I will click on James Bond. When opening the student, I can see that the student is ready for their next quiz. If I would like to have the student view their quiz results, I can click on Attempt 1 here, and it will pop up the student's results. I can see that the student got question 1, 2, 3, 4 correct, and 5 through 10 incorrect by seeing the check or the X located next to it. To see that the student's question is correct, it will tell you you have answered correctly with the check next to the correct answer that they chose. Or I could go through the questions that they did not answer correctly. I cannot see the answer that the student chose, but I can see the correct answer indicated with the check mark next to it. If I wanted to review with the student before they took the quiz, this is a great opportunity. By going through all of the questions that they missed, and showing them how to correct their answers. Once a student is ready to take the quiz again, I would start by clicking Add Retake. When adding a retake, I would click here and I will enter the number of retakes. I want the student to have one retake, and you can enter the time limit for the retake. I always select 30 minutes, but you can indicate what is needed for your student. Once you click the time, you will click Submit. After clicking Submit, I will now unlock the activity. I will click Unlock Activity and choose the time that matches the time that I gave them. Then you would click Submit. Once you have added a retake and unlocked the activity, the student is ready. You would then tell your student to refresh their page and begin starting on their quiz. If this is the second attempt for a student, feel free to let them know that you are able to check their answers before they submit so that you can help the student with any questions that may need more assistance before they submit their quiz. For students to pass the quiz, they must receive a 70 or higher. If the student takes their second attempt and they do not score a 70 or higher, we have a few options. If you want to change the grade, we would do so by clicking on the quiz that we would like to change the grade. I'm going to use this example here. The student scored an 80. If the student scored a 50 and I needed to change their grade, I would select the activity and I could click Change Score. For changing the score, I would indicate the new score that I need for that student by entering the grade and putting a reason. And then I would click Submit. Once I click Submit, I can see the grade is indicated for the student. If a student has taken a quiz multiple times and is struggling with that exact section, what I like to do is download their course report and see what their overall grade is. If their overall grade is above a 70, for example, this student has an 83 in the course. So I can say, you know what, James, you've done really well in the course. We're going to go ahead and give you a passing score. That's for the example of if a student scores a 40, a 50, and then scores a 60, we can change their score or pass with a score. So if I see James is not doing good in biological evidence and the fossil record, he got a 40, he's taken it again, he's got a 50, he took it again, and he got a 60. I could pass with score for this current activity. I would then say James got a 40 and give a reason. So I would give James the 40 and help him to move forward in the course. I would then click Submit, and now I can see that I've given the grade of 40 and it's moving James on to the next pretest. The current activity is always highlighted in yellow. So that gives James the 40, allows him to move forward in the course, and gives him the opportunity to keep moving. That's passing with score for a current activity. We're going to go to our other student because this student is complete and take a look at their completion. So Wonder Woman let me know that she finished her course. I would type in her first 3 letters of her name and she will populate here. Once I click on Wonder Woman, I can see her courses. I can also see that they're complete by looking at the status here or here. I have 2 examples, one is a CR and one is a CA. First, we're going to look at the CR course. I'm going to click on the title of the course, Chemistry ACR. Whenever I click on the course, I can see nothing is opened up and that the current course is complete. To verify that the student is complete, I would download their course report by clicking here. Once I open it up, I would start by looking at student progress, that it's 100%, as well as the target progress. The grade is above a 70, so those are the first things I'm going to look for. Next, I'm going to look and see that all of the activities are complete by scrolling through and seeing the grades for the activities. I can see attempts 1. That tells me that the student pre-tested out of this piece of the course. when looking at the course, I can see which ones they did not pre-test out or the assignments that they had to actually participate in. I can see their grade here, how much time they spent on it, and the date that they participated in that activity. When scrolling through Wonder Woman's course, I can see that she did everything that she needed to and is finished. If I wanted to look at Wonder Woman's other course, that's a credit acceleration, I could go to the graduate icon, click on View Courses, and look at her Algebraic Reasoning ACA course. I can also see nothing is open on the course and the class is complete. I'm going to verify that by checking the course report, opening it up, and looking for the following. Student progress, 100%. The grade is above a 70. For a credit acceleration course, the student is going to earn the grade that they got. As long as it is above a 70, they get their grade. Wonder Woman will get a 76 in Algebraic Reasoning ACA. Now I'm going to look for multiple attempts to make sure that if a student took a third attempt on a course, the grade should indicate a 70. I would look at attempts by finding the quiz and seeing anything that had a number 3 here. This student took 2 attempts here, they're good. 2 attempts here, they're good. 3 attempts. This student took 3 attempts on the quiz in section 2E. I can see that the grade matches and is correct at a 70. That is the only section that the student took 3 attempts on. The grade was changed to a 70, and we are ready for the student to complete their course. If Wonder Woman had a 3 in this column, but did not have a 70 here, I would then be able to go back to the course and change that grade for the student. To do that, I'm going to go back to lesson 2E, comparing characteristics of functions, and change her quiz grade. I'm going to go back to the course and look in section 2. I'm looking for comparing characteristics of functions, section 2E. I would click on that. It will open up the section, and I would click on the quiz. I'm then going to click change score to change the score to a 70 since the student took a third attempt. This student has already got a 70 here since we've changed it, but I'm going to show you how to do that now. So I would click on the quiz and change their score. I'm going to click change score and type in 70. For the reason, I'm going to choose third attempt and then submit. It will save and indicate third attempt 70. Now I can verify that it changed by downloading the course report again. I would click course report, open the report, and verify that on section 2E, the quiz has 3 attempts and the score is a 70. This student has finished their entire course and is ready to be completed. Now we're going to cover logging in as a student. As a student, students will use the login information as follows. NISD plus their student ID number. For example, NISD 123456. Their password will be their student ID without the S. For example, 123456. As a student, I'm going to log in by using the following. NISD 870633 and their S number without the S. And then click Login. When logging into my course, it will show me where I'm at on the course. So James Bond is currently working on Biology BCR. He is behind pace. He should be at this indicator here. Tells them the percentage as well as their grade. To go to the next activity where they left off, they would click the button Next Activity. It will then pick them up exactly where they left off. If the student wanted to go back through the lesson to look at anything before they take their quiz again, they could do so by clicking Home and click on the biology title. I can see that the student is working on this activity here. They need to take their quiz again. They could go through the instruction by clicking here and going through any of the slides that they would like, or maybe the student needs to take more notes. The student could go through the title, click the plus, and click View Guided Notes. The guided notes will pop up in a separate window so they can see the document here. They will be able to download or print the notes. Today we covered several topics for credit retrieval teachers when working in Edgenuity. I hope that this helps you with logging in, managing courses, as well as finishing out students for their completion. Thank you so much for your time.